Hi everybody, welcome to CloudCoin Live. I'm Sean Worthington, lead scientist. And today I would like to talk about, well, the usual things, tell you about the progress that we're making. Maybe I should start by talking about Freedom Fest, because last week CloudCoin was at Freedom Fest. And there we were able to make a huge amount of contacts with other people. We were able to raise awareness about CloudCoin with the libertarian intellectual upper class, so to speak. I got to speak on the main stage right before Judge Napolitano, and that was an honor, and I think it was probably the best speech I've ever given. I haven't actually seen it yet, but it was the best. I can probably do a lot better in the future, but I spoke to at least 2,000 people. I also did a breakout session where I talked about my new theory of perfect money, and that went very well as well. And next week I will be in Chicago at the Chicago Trade Expo. That's on Monday, and I'll be talking about my theories there and talking about beyond Bitcoin. So that's exciting. This week we have pretty much decided that it is unnecessary. We think that it's unnecessary for us to ever have to do a split. And of course, Bitcoin is something that splits all the time, where they actually call it a fork. And that's where they take a bunch of system administrators decide they want to go in different directions, and some of them update their code one way, and others maybe keep it the same, and then they end up with two different digital currencies. And that hasn't been very popular. We could do the same thing with CloudCoin. If we wanted to increase the number of CloudCoins there are, we would have to actually clone the servers. And we've decided that that's not necessary. The only reason why we'd want to do that is because we want to have greater availability, which means that it's less likely that the whole thing will go down. That we would want to have scalability. That means that we've got huge amounts of people that can use the system. And because we would want to decrease the value, so it's more of a better unit of account. However, we have solved all of those problems in other ways. Number one, we were very surprised to find out that the RAIDA in its current form is extremely fast. It's probably the fastest transaction system in the world. Most systems, when they do a transaction, they have to pull from many different databases, and they have to put it together, and they have to check to make sure it's good, and it takes many, many milliseconds, and if something goes wrong, it has to be rolled back, and so they have to have all this code involved. Ours is a very simple system. We just change the password, and that's all we do. We don't record any transactions, and because of that, we can do it much faster than we thought we could do it, and in fact, it looks like we might be able to do it hyper fast. We might be able to scale up, which means to add more processors and RAMs and better hardware. We might be able to scale up to 8 million transactions every second, and so that's just more than we could probably ever use. And so we're not going to do any splitting. We're taking splitting off the table, and instead we're going to develop our fractions, which are another way of having a second tier of RAIDA servers, kind of like the DNS system has the root servers, and then it has these upper top-level domain like the .com, the .edu, the .net. And then below that, you might have like the .com has Amazon and Facebook and all these other different things. We can actually layer it like that, and we can have different layers do the fractions. So that will be a good solution to all of our problems, and nobody has to worry about splits or talk about it or get upset about it. The RAIDA is going very well. We are now creating very customized software that will make it even more fault tolerant, even better. That is underway. Our client software, we're getting ready to release our next version of Founders Edition and the next version of Consumers Edition. That's going to run on both Windows and Mac. And we were also getting ready to release our next Android edition. And we've actually got 2 different Androids that we're getting ready to release. One is the Pocket Bank that we've had. That'll now have multi-detect, and we're also going to have another edition of Android. And I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like it's going to be good. We are still working on liquidity, trying to make it so that CloudCoins can turn into other stuff. This has been a stickler for us. First thing we want to do is get on Bitshares. I need about an hour or 2 of some Bitshare engineers' time in order to set up a wallet, and and that's just about all we need to do is just set up the darn wallet. And so that's probably something that maybe you know how to do. So if you know how to do, maybe you can tell us. But that's what we need to do. And I haven't spent a lot of time doing it because it seems like we could just ask, or learning how to do it, because it seems like we could just ask somebody else and they could set it up for us. All right, I do have some questions, and one question has to do with marketing. When do we start marketing? And marketing is something that we have to get everything done and ready for before we do marketing. And so that means that we want to have all of our exchanges up. We want to have xyzs.com up. That's actually, hopefully by Monday, we'll be in a situation where that can go up. And we want to have all of our SDKs done so everybody's ready to use it and we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And we can put marketing in the front burner. So how long is it going to take? Well, our original plans is that around year 2 we would start marketing. And so that's still a good 4 or 5 months away before, and that's probably pretty reasonable that 4 or 5 months from now, then we'll start actually marketing and buying advertisements and telling people about CloudCoin. I have a question from Mary Jane Adam. I'm really interested in this new crypto, but from what I understand, no app is allowed on Apple phones. My computer no longer works, and I really haven't need any more to have one. What is the solution? And so we have had a problem with Apple iPhones because the iStore has blocked our applications from being allowed on their hardware. That's a problem. We'll probably have to end up suing them. But we also are working on a web-based solution. The web-based solution would allow you to access your CloudCoins from a browser, and so that would be, that's a possibility. That will work with the iPhone, and hopefully we'll have that done now. I believe that Navraj is actually working on that right now, full time. How will current holders of CloudCoins import them into the Bitshares wallet? Okay, so in order to, once we get the Bitshares going and you have CloudCoins and you want to turn them into Bitshares in your Bitshare wallet, you will go to our webpage that we're setting up, and you will then upload your CloudCoins into our depository, and you will put your Bitshares ID, and that will then transfer Bitshares into your wallet, and you'll have those Bitshares, that CloudCoin version that you can then trade. Let me see. Medical radio? What'd you say?
Oh, I said medical radio. The next question, I was wondering if you're going to Alexander Zubak.
So it's hope I can build my medical smart contract project on RAIDA. Well, I don't know exactly what your project does, but it's it may very well be possible, and so I don't have enough information to tell you yes or no on that. Target date was 11th of July. Is there some new target date? And we haven't had a new target date because we're at a bottleneck, and we're at the same bottleneck that we had 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We just need a couple hours of time from their network engineers, and then once we have that, who knows, we might be able to go live the next day. We'll see. So I've been told that would have that time, but so far we have not had that time. Another question, how does the transaction itself remain secure from hackers stealing it before the CloudCoin is pwned? Well, when you change the passwords, it may be possible for a hacker to somehow get the signal as it's in transit, but then they would have to unencrypt that signal. And in order to unencrypt that signal, as far as we know, based on science, they would have to, well, it would be impossible, and so they just can't do it. And we're using encryption that is unbreakable. And unlike other systems in which they send it over one channel and it's encrypted, and if you get that cracked, it's gone, we send it over 25 different channels all over the world, so it's split up. So we don't see how it's possible for anybody to hack it or steal it in transition. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but as far as we know, it's safe. Another question, when will we start the marketing phase? I already answered that one, so about 4 months, hopefully. I was asked to mention that we are trying to sell some cloud coins for our programmers, and so we've got a lot of programmers now, and they would like to sell their cloud coin. And most of them have sales pages that they can sell them at, and that's great. But to make it easier for you to buy them, we put something in the last newsletter that you can go on there and buy those if you like. So I was just asked to remind you about that. All that money goes to pay for the programmers, and that, of course, goes into CloudCoin, making it more valuable. All right, do we have any other questions or comments?
You covered everything this time really well. If you want to speak any more about Freedom Fest, that's probably the only thing I can think of. I don't know if you have any more information. It seems like you guys were there for forever. I feel like you should have a little bit more. Like people you met, maybe?
Well, at Freedom Fest, we certainly got to meet Stan Larimer and Michael Taggart of Bitshares, and we had to spend lots of time with them. We had a lot of time talking about different projects that we could work on together. And there's a whole bunch of projects that our technologies together could really solve some major problems of mankind, a lot of security problems, a lot of stopping hacking from happening, a lot of privacy issues. And so there's a tremendous amount of potential there. And we had some great discussions, and I'm sure that a lot will come out of there. We also met some other folks besides the Bitshares people. We met people that are interested in stocks and bonds, and we might be able to get the stocks and bonds going for the RAIDA Corporation. And that would bring in hopefully a whole bunch of investment that we could then turn around and use to develop cloud coins and other related technology. We got to meet with a lot of, we started to meet with the movers and shakers within the crypto world. The crypto world, I think they look at us and they think it's some kind of scam or something, or they, they don't maybe not realize that it's legitimate digital money. But I have been invited to go speak to a Bitcoin convention that's happening in Brazil in September. So this is going to be an international blockchain convention. Of course, I'll be the only one that's not blockchain based as far as I know. But it will be very interesting to talk to those folks, and hopefully I don't get mugged and beat up or anything. They're all reasonable and logical. But I think I will hazard to go down there, and then we will actually be in with the top of the crypto people, and hopefully that'll work out for us very well. All right. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us for another version of CloudCoin Live. And we'll see you next week. We're going to keep on cracking, hitting it. We'll be in Chicago next week. Hopefully next week we'll have the Bitshares done and XYZ buys done. And of course Celebrating did get done. And so we've been actually using that, and that's working out great. Okay, bye-bye.